Welcome to the auditorium at the Marley Education Center for the second edition of PEC Splitscreen Rocket League. We've got a host of great matchups here to break down for you. I'm Jack Elliott here with Nate Romastan, and we're super excited to take all this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting. We have a lot of great matchups today. Syracuse, Boise State, Michigan State, Kansas. A lot of exciting matchups, and we're ready to bring it all to you.
Yeah, so just to take you through those matchups, some of them Nate just mentioned, we've got Syracuse versus Boise State. That's kind of our marquee game of the evening. Lots of standings implications right there. That's the number 2 and number 3 team currently. Then you've got Baylor versus Minnesota, MSU versus Kansas, Michigan State versus Kansas, and Ohio State versus Utah. I'd like to take a look at some of those standings, though. What do you think, yeah?
Yeah, the standings are pretty important this week, just as you said with Syracuse and Boise State. That is a big game, especially for the standings that are going to come up. You can see here, Syracuse is in the 3, Boise's in the 2. This game could really flip that with some other games going their way.
Yeah, it may look like Boise State is pretty far ahead of Syracuse. As you can see, 11-3 versus 9-3, but they're even on losses. If Syracuse can hand Boise State, if Syracuse can, hand a loss to Boise State here, that would be really big in terms of trying to take that 2 seed. Michigan State right now sits pretty comfortably in the 4 seed, but as long as you keep winning games, really anything could happen. Syracuse could drop a game somewhere. Boise State could. Looking at the other matchups, you've got the 1 versus the bottom team. So, that one you might have an idea of where it could go. I think Kansas could pull an upset on Michigan State based on how things have been going this semester. And then last, you've got Ohio State versus Utah. Utah has been on a bit of a run. They've won 2 of their games so far this semester, which has been super impressive. And this could be a good step in terms of kind of coming out of that basement.
Yeah, it really could be. When I looked at Utah's schedule so far, they've kind of had an unfortunate go at the very beginning. It felt like they played all the top teams back to back to back. They played Syracuse, they played Baylor. Now they have a chance to really get momentum going and really pick this game up. One of the big things that I thought about with Utah was, let's get momentum, right? Start swinging the momentum into the right way for Utah, and I think that's very important.
Let's head now. Let's take a look and break down some of these matchups, because I think there are some that are going to be better than others, but the top matchup for me this week is Syracuse versus Boise State. That is going to be a fantastic matchup, but it's going to be a little bit interesting. Syracuse missing a player. There was some weather. You got stranded in Texas. That's going to be lesser for Syracuse. Got stranded in Texas because of the big snowstorms coming through the Northeast. So they've got Nano coming in. He's a freshman, and he's going to be, playing backup, playing sub today.
Yeah, he's a guy that I'm going to look at in this matchup. He's going to have to step up. It's the next man up mentality here for Syracuse. Another guy I look at is Gababy. Gababy this season really hasn't been the offensive weapon that at least I remember Gababy being. He's been more of the defensive guy, more fundamental on the map. I really want to see him take that step and really play aggressive this week. Syracuse's defense has been perfect, but I really want to see Gababy become an offensive weapon.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Syracuse's defense is so fantastic because of Gababy, but also because of Tiz. He's that glue guy. He can really just be everywhere for this team. Last time out against Boise State, that was in the first semester. It was the second week. So these teams hadn't really started to gel yet, for Syracuse at least. Boise State had played, they played together for a whole semester or a whole year. Syracuse hadn't. So they were really learning to gel. And, Syracuse first week last semester got stomped by Michigan State. It wasn't close. And then the second week against Boise State, lost the first 2 games. It looked like it was going to be a 3-game sweep. Syracuse then took them to overtime in 2 straight games, won both those games, and in the final game lost in overtime. So it was a 3-2, really tight loss for Syracuse. Lesser after the game was like, man, I know I could have played better and we could have won that game. Lesser's not here. We'll have to see if Syracuse can replicate and maybe even, take that magic a little bit further, get a big win here.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult with just how good Boise State is and really all assets of the game right now. It feels like Boise State, besides Baylor, feels like nobody really can stop them. Syracuse has slowed them down, as you mentioned, but Boise State is a runaway team right now, and I really think they're in contention to win the whole thing.
So I'll give mine in a second, but do you have any predictions for this first game? It's best of 5.
I think Boise State's going to win 3-1. I think Syracuse can sneak one game off of them, but it's going to depend on the first game. If Boise State comes out right away and dominates, I don't think Syracuse can get one. But if Syracuse can start map one off strong, they might be able to sneak one out and get 3-1.
So I'm actually going to go the other way from you. I think that Syracuse, Tiz has been so fantastic and he just continues to get better every week. Gababy, of course, is the rock that we know him as. Nano's just got to play decent here, bring a little spice to this team, bring something that, they haven't seen before. Having no film on you, at least in terms of the PEC, could be a really important factor. I think Syracuse takes it in 5-3-2.
Yeah, I mean, and not having film on somebody plays a huge role. Just like in traditional sports, whenever a new guy comes in at quarterback and there's no film, everything's different now, right? So I really think if Nano can step up and play at a high level or even at just that bridge player level, Syracuse could turn away and run with it.
All right, now I want to let's go, pretty quickly. We can dive into the other matchups a little bit. We'll start with Baylor versus Minnesota. Do you have any predictions here? It's the number 1 team versus the number 9 team currently.
I think Baylor's going to go 3-0 here. Minnesota's in a spot right now where I think the game plan has to be go out, have fun, throw the playbook at the wall and see what sticks, and really just try to gain some type of momentum. Get a goal or two, get feeling good. Baylor, come in, do your thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, with Minnesota last semester, it was rough. They didn't win a game. And then now they've won 2 early in the semester. So they're, starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. Pi has been playing really incredibly for them after, his Fall Stars appearance. But I think it's going to be a 3-0 for Baylor here. I think that Baylor could even pull off some kind of shutout here. Now going down, we'll go to Michigan State versus Kansas. Any predictions here?
This is my sneak game, and I really think this is what we call a trap game. I think Kansas can pull off the upset 3-2 against Michigan State.
Oh, you know what? I was also going to say that, as I kind of mentioned it before. I will also take the 3-2 as there it is, Michigan State versus Kansas right here. It's 0-0, about 30 seconds in. Taking a look at Knock. Knock's got a clear shot on goal, knocks it into the corner, but Meave is there to intercept, kind of kick it out. Alpaca flying up the wall for Kansas, but it's going to be a good clear from Opbom, only as far as Meave. Swift takes it, but Morvu takes it off the top. Now Meave taking it forward, got a decent amount of boost through the air, gets the flip reset, shot on goal, no good. Opbom is there to clear it. Swift only goes about as far as that Michigan State half. Alpaca back into Swift, but just couldn't quite find the angle. Opbom flicks it into the offensive end for Michigan State. Meave takes it off the wall. Good contest there, but there's nobody in the middle to find it. Opbom takes it off of Alpaca. Shot early on goal from Knock, but couldn't quite find it. Morvu knocks it into the middle, wins 150, but Alpaca manages to clear. Alpaca got a little bit of boost, but there's the demolition.
Yeah, big demolition there. Now Bomb, Kansas is kind of pressuring Michigan State here. Michigan State going to be able to get it out. I really like what I'm seeing out of Kansas right now, and as I say it, Bomb with the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like there was really nobody back. Opbom had that under control the entire time. Kansas, there was a double commit up in the top, the attacking portion that just kind of caused everything to go off the rails, and Michigan State converted. Getting back into it now, though. Opbom wins a good face-off, but nobody's got any boost. Going to have to try and recollect. Swift takes advantage with a full tank of boost and gets it off the wall. Knock knocks it forward. Meave intercepts it around midfield. Doesn't have any boost to continue the attack. Morvu knocks it into the offensive end for Michigan State. Pops it in towards the middle. Is anybody going to be there? Knock is right there, and it's a second goal for Michigan State. And our predictions are already being dashed, huh?
Michigan State must have heard our predictions, and they came out with a little bit of vengeance right away. Playing phenomenal Rocket League. They're rotating well, it appears. They're managing their boost right.
Getting back into it. The kickoff comes in, met in midfield. Meave gets it past one, but the last defender is able to knock it back. Morvu gets a shot that goes pretty far wide. It's good demolition from Swift. Knock knocks it towards the goal, but Alpaca manages to clear it off to the side. Knock hits it into the middle again for Opbom, who can't quite get there to redirect it towards goal. Recycles it for Morvu. Morvu flicks it up. Meave is there and manages to get a decent clear off to the side. Opbom up off the wall, leaves it for Knock, but couldn't quite get it to go. And now it's Swift trying to lob it out. And, these rotations have looked mostly good for Kansas, but it's just been a couple that haven't quite worked out.
Yeah, so far the rotations are looking good. Kansas is playing as, it looks like the best Rocket League they really can play, but Michigan State is just one step ahead of them in every asset.
I would say that's pretty accurate, but you know, trying to find a little bit more attack here. Knocks it down in front, and Opbom just gets a goal. My goodness, off the back wall, gets the putback. A great pass forward from Morvu, and Opbom has been on fire so far today.
Yeah, Opbom is doing everything, it feels like, for Michigan State right now. Already 2 goals so far, playing phenomenal Rocket League.
Getting into the kickoff, 3-2-1. We head into it yet again. Swift and Knock meet at midfield. Alpaca's got an opportunity. Knocks it over Morvu, but Morvu with a great save manages to get back after it looked like he got beat. Knocked down in front of the goal, but Opbom is there to clear it. Knock gets demolitioned. Now Meave is going to try and make a little something happen. Meave has to go back, recollect, boost, and it's a good win on the 50 for Meave again. Meave can't find the hit forward, and Alpaca just kind of bungles the clearance. That's Swift, who knocks it past one, a wide open net. Swift just got to get it into the middle for anybody. Tries to shove Opbom off the ball, but it's a good clear from Knock. Morvu kicks it up forward and completes the clear. Now Meave is going to have to restart from the end. Morvu tries to contest, but can't quite get it. 50 doesn't go the way of either team, and Swift is able to clear after the 50. Swift gets the flip reset, knocks it past one. It's falling towards the goal, but Morvu makes a nice save.
Great save by Morvu there. I really like what I'm seeing with the demolitions that are happening on the map. I think demolitions are something that Rocket League isn't talked about enough. It really can throw off the pacing for a team in their rotations.
And that's something that we saw with Baylor all first semester, those demolitions. Like, they love to get demolitions. It's what I noticed most in their matchup with Syracuse. It would completely throw the team off rhythm. Knock kicks it forward to Opbom. Opbom can't quite get it on target. It's left for Knock. Knock knocks it down, but no, Meave is there to save it. Opbom with boost yet again. Those boost rotations have been really nice, but Swift manages to clear it out a little further. Only as far as Morvu, though. Morvu can only get it towards Meave. Swift waits on it, but Morvu manages to kick it all the way across. Alpaca trying to find it off the ceiling, but it's Opbom who gets there first, lands the flip reset, leaves it for Knock, but Knock is met by Alpaca, a good 50 win. Meave gets the clear to Swift. Swift off the back wall to Alpaca, but no, it's just flicked all the way back towards that Kansas end. Only 30 seconds to get 3 goals. Excuse me, 4. Morvu slams it home.
A great play there, a perfect setup by Morvu's teammate. I can't see who it was, but it was a perfect setup. The flick went the wrong way for Kansas, set Michigan State up in a perfect situation.
It was just absolutely fantastic. You can see Meave giving some respect in the chat because, yeah, that was pretty unreal. Now they're going to meet in midfield yet again. Only 19 seconds. Feels like this game is pretty much over. Meave can't quite get it. Knock is going to clear it out. 10 seconds left. 9-8. Looking for another goal is Michigan State. Meave just going to clear it out, kind of let things dribble out. 2-1. Next time the ball touches ground, that will be the end of the game. Still being flicked around by Meave. Meave hits it towards their own goal. And oh my goodness, it's a fantastic save from Swift. But it's not going to matter. Morvu gonna let it touch ground. And it's a game 1 win for Michigan State. So 1-0 so far.
Yeah, great win by Michigan State. It felt like they were 1 step ahead of Kansas the entire time. Really felt like no matter what Kansas did, Michigan State was like, oh, we know what you're doing. We're going to read it and make a play on it.
I think we're about to head into another game. There it is, Syracuse versus Boise State, our marquee game of the evening. Going to be really excited to see how this one plays out. It's Woozy and Durtho up against the Syracuse squad of Gababy, Tiz, and Nano. Durtho knocks it forward past midfield. Gababy's going to be there to claim it. Heads up the wall, tries to knock it off the wall. Going to look for a teammate, but can't quite get anything, and Preston's going to clear it out. Preston looking to continue the attack now with no boost. Durtho there has it. It's a good save from Gababy. There he is on the defensive, exactly like we were talking about as Tiz clears it out.
Yeah, there's the defensive fundamental superstar Gababy right there, just making plays, playing fundamental Rocket League. And almost a goal for the Orange.
It was a great shot from Tiz, just clanked off the top bar. Couldn't quite get it to go. Durtho putting a little bit of offensive pressure on Syracuse through the air. Gababy is there to meet him, and it's a good save off the back wall. Nano now going to try and take it up. Can't get it past Woozy. Left there for Tiz, but Preston gets it over him. Gababy is back and manages to clear it out past Durtho. Nano with a good 50 win there against, he's already showing his presence. Gababy going to let it go past him to Tiz. Tiz trying to create a little something. Manages to get it past one. Gababy into the middle for Tiz, but not quite enough speed to get there. Tiz going to have to kind of recycle a little bit. Now Nano knocks it down in front of goal, but it's a good save. It's a good pinch save there from Boise State.
Yeah, it's a good save by Boise. I mean, Nano was set up and
Nano!
Nano!
Nano on the debut for Syracuse. My goodness, he finds a goal off a nice pass from Gababy. That is a way to make an impression. Put yourself up against the number 2 seed. Way to be for the rookie.
What a play.
Just right place, right time for Nano. And he gets an early goal. Tiz with a shot on net, but it's a good save for Preston as things get restarted. Wow.
Unbelievable play by Nano. I'm at a loss for words with that play, to be honest.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. What a way to start your debut. Gababy now has to get a clear. You know, the way I think about it is kind of like lacrosse, where you get possession in the defensive end, but you still have to clear it all the way out. So Tiz now going to try and knock it down in front. Can't quite get it. It's a good save from Woozy as we're going to head into a double box in just a moment. But my goodness, before we do, Nano gets a second goal for Syracuse. He's got a brace already on debut. I can't believe it.
The Orange are really embodying this next man up mentality. Nano stepping into the role as we're in a quad box.
Oh my goodness, we're taking a look at the quad box here. Baylor, Minnesota kicking off in just a moment. Ohio State currently up 2 on Utah. We've got Michigan State and Kansas. It's 1-0 on it's 1-0 on the series. Utah up currently against Ohio State, 2-0, which is pretty surprising. You know, as I said, I thought they might have an opportunity to upset here. We didn't give our predictions, but you know, if I'm gonna make a prediction now that I can see some things going on, I'm gonna go 3-2 to Utah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be honest. I mean, Utah's stepping into a role, and they're kind of finding their groove, we can already see.
And as you can see in that top right, Kansas grabs an early goal against Michigan State. That is absolutely fantastic for them. Syracuse holding strong there. Baylor versus Minnesota going to kick off fairly soon. Ohio State grabs a goal down in the bottom, and they're making things interesting there as well.
Yeah, good goal for Ohio State. Really try to get that momentum back and get into your groove of things again.
Up in the top left, you can see Durtho on the attack for Boise State. A little bit of a mix-up there for Syracuse, but Gababy's going to be able to get it and clear it out. Oh, Woozy slams it past one, but Nano is going to be there, and it's a good clear for the rookie yet again.
Yeah, and right here in the Kansas game, it's been a little bit interesting. Oh,
we're heading into Utah versus Ohio State right now. You're all good. As, you know, Ohio State's trying to find some offense, get back into this game as, you know, a real early Utah blitz started things off.
Yeah, Utah really got to an early lead and forced Ohio State to have to play a little bit faster, speed up their tempo. Almost a goal for Ohio State.
Yeah, in that Ohio State goal mouth, they're going to just go ahead and recollect here at the bottom. And this is what I was talking about. You know, having possession on defense is great, but you still have to get it out, get the clear, just like in lacrosse in Rocket League. And that's the most interesting thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
oh, and there it is, bouncing all across. And my goodness, what a save to deny Utah. That was impressive. Ohio State hanging on for dear life as we head back into the quad box. Still 2-0 Syracuse, just 46 seconds left, and it's still 1-0 Kansas with about 1:40. Syracuse playing defense for dear life in that top corner right now. An absolutely electrifying quad box to start things off. Durtho flying through the air, can't hit it, leaves it instead for Preston, who takes a shot on goal. It's going to be a good save for Gababy, who now looks for the clear. Durtho knocks it in the middle for Woozy. Another hit for Durtho, but Tiz is going to clear it out. As you can see on that bottom left, we're going to get the replay right now. Branch, just a wide open net for Utah, and it's 3-1. Utah showing their stuff against Ohio State right now.
Yeah, Utah's found that groove. I mean, all season they've been struggling to figure it out, but now they have it.
And another goal for Syracuse could be coming, but oh my goodness, it's cleared off the line. Still 2-0 with just seconds to remain as Ohio State grabs another goal there too. It's just got to hit the ground in this Syracuse game, and Syracuse takes game 1 against Boise State.
That defense came into play. That is what we talked about before the game started. That number 1 or number 2 defense really showed up.
40 seconds now in this Michigan State-Kansas game, with Kansas having the advantage 1-0. Michigan State, of course, has the series lead 1-0, but this would tie it up. Oh my goodness, there's the goal for Morvu. He sneaks through and finds the equalizer with 30 seconds to go.
A great play by Morvu. You get some demolitions there. Morvu takes a fabulous shot. Swift misses the block, but Great shot by Michigan State.
Things are all knotted up. We got 30 seconds to find a goal, and if not, we'll be headed into overtime. PEC split screen overtime for the first time today. Kansas looking for a shot on net here. Nearly got it to squeak by, but couldn't quite get it to go. It's cleared out as far as Meave, who gets immediately demolished. Oh my goodness, an open net, and Knock is gonna find the goal with 15 seconds left.
Michigan State brings it back. A great shot here. You can see Knock set up perfectly by his teammate. An amazing pass right down the center of the pitch.
I mean, it was going in either way. Knock just gonna get the finish up. But wow, this has been flipped on its head in the span of 16 seconds. And now it's up to Kansas to find a goal with just 10 remaining. Alpaca can't quite get it out. It's a good clear for Morvu. And it's gonna be 3-1. There is the dagger.
Adding insult to injury is what Michigan State did right there.
Wow, so 3-1 Michigan State with just seconds to go. They're going to take a 2-0 series lead after looking like they were going to lose for most of this game. Can you believe that?
I cannot believe that. That's a great comeback by Michigan State. 2 seconds left, 1 second.
And he's going to try and get one more goal. We have a full quad box for the first time in PEC split screen history. Every single game on at once. Utah beat Ohio State to go up 1-0. Syracuse currently up 1-0. And this Baylor-Minnesota game has just started. Rad clears it out for Minnesota, but that offensive pressure already up the wazoo for Baylor. And there it is, an early goal for Baylor. It's Zaniel who knocks it in.
That's the one thing you couldn't let happen if you were Minnesota. You could not let Baylor get this momentum early and start to just run away with the game already.
Yeah, this has been absolutely incredible so far. Shout out to the whole team here, all of the producers, everybody back a staff for just an incredible experience so far. The first ever real true quad box for PEC split screen. This has been an absolute blast. Pi trying to clear it out. Pi was the lone fall star for Minnesota in the fall, so essentially an all-star. Gets a shot on net for Alex, but can't quite get it to go. Pi looking to create a little something, leaves it for Alex, but the shot goes just wide. Hoxer has to go ahead and clear.
Baylor
now, Hoxer knocks it into the middle for Andy. Andy's going to clear it out to Zaniel. Zaniel get a shot on net. My goodness, flips it by, gets demolished, but that won't matter as Alex missed the ball. And Zaniel just showing some stuff. My goodness, that's a great flip just to kind of deke out Alex a little bit there.
Zaniel did everything there. He was the guy on that play and made a tremendous play.
Absolutely. The offense for Baylor so far, he's got both goals. Hoxer with an immediate shot on goal. Is it going to drop? No, great save from Alex as we go back into the quad box. Syracuse already has a lead in Game 2 over Boise State. That is incredible. Utah-Ohio State is scoreless, with Utah having a 1-0 series lead, and it's a 2-0 series lead for Michigan State in a scoreless game early right now. Tiz has it forward so far. Yeah, I mean, this is just incredible. There are so many awesome games going on at once. Every game has been close so far, especially that Boise State-Syracuse game, which is not going the way that you thought it was, but, I mean, you're here at Syracuse. You might be glad to hear that.
A little bit glad to hear that, but Boise State, they need to figure it out, to be honest.
And we're going to hop into Ohio State after a quick goal. Ohio State-Utah. Ohio State finds an early goal so far. You know, I mean, that's going to be big for them. They're already down 1-0. They have to start playing like the team they know that they are. Woozy finds an equalizer. You're going to see the replay right there in the top left. Just kind of capitalized on. Syracuse had real low boost numbers, and Michigan State finds a goal looking for that sweep of Kansas. Still 2-0 Baylor, and that's about it going how we expected it to. Yeah, I mean, this has just been incredible. What have you noticed so far in this Boise State-Syracuse game? We watched a lot of that first game.
I've noticed the Orange defense playing phenomenal. They're managing their boost well. They're rotating on the map perfectly, and they're really not giving Boise State many opportunities to get shots on goal, except for the one goal that Boise State did. I need to see Boise State start taking more shots and start playing more of an aggressive game that they can play.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would tend to agree with you there. This Utah-Ohio State game has been super interesting so far. Utah, of course, 2-10. Ohio State sitting at 4-8, 4-9. And that, you know, they're down on the series right now. Is a dominant win for Utah in the first one as Ohio State grabs the second goal. Ohio State kind of growing into this one.
Ohio State's kind of finding their rhythm, kind of finding their flow. The first game, it took them a minute to get into that driver's seat. Now they're comfortable. They're starting to play with confidence. That's what you need to see out of Ohio State.
Tiz has a wide open net, but Preston is there to block it. I couldn't see him. He was blended in with his own goal. Gababy going to have to kind of try and recover just a little bit. Picks up 100 boost. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Gets a decent deke there real quick. Leaves it for Tiz, but Woozy makes a nice clear. You can see Baylor grabbed another goal over there, and it's still 1-0 Michigan State in the top right. So, you know, Syracuse, Boise State is currently the closest of these matchups. I mean, knotted up at 1, but everything else, you know, really not that close, although Ohio State did just grab another goal.
Ohio State getting another goal, and we are in on the Ohio State game right here, and that's just a perfect shot. There's nothing much more to it.
Yeah, he squeezed it between two defenders, put your team up 3-0 in a game that, you know, you really needed to shift the momentum back your way after that game 1 loss. Kelpie going to try and flick it over one. Got to try and get a little bit of offense going for Utah, and there it is. Still half this game left, and Utah could absolutely make a comeback.
We just saw Michigan State do a very similar thing here. Utah is in the position to do what Michigan State did and make a 3-0 comeback.
I mean, this has been incredible. We're going to go back into the quad box with 30 seconds remaining in Boise State, Syracuse. Currently, Boise State in the offensive zone. A full thing of boost for Durtho. It's a good clear for Syracuse. Still a lot of boost. It's a tough double commit from Gababy and Tiz. We're going to hop into this one for the last 17 seconds. Gababy doing everything he can in front of net. Nano manages to clear it out. Nobody's really got boost. It's another shot. Nano manages to clear it out again. Gababy's got to find it, but no, Durtho is there to keep it in that offensive zone for Boise State. He's going to try and leave it for Woozy, but it's a good save, and we are headed to overtime in this series. Tied 1-1. Kickoff goes off. It's Nano, gets an early shot into that end. Oh my goodness, it's a wide open goal for Syracuse. Can he finish? No! Gababy puts it just wide. It was a golden opportunity for the Orange, and he couldn't quite finish it. Oh my goodness. Woozy able to clear it out, but only as far as midfield. Tiz taking a bit of a defensive position. Gababy gets a nice touch in midair, and now it's Tiz with, you know, a lot to do up here. But he gets an opportunity. Gababy off the back wall, the dunk. Syracuse goes up 2-0.
A phenomenal play by the Orange. Tiz sets Gababy up perfect, hits it right off the top of the goal. Gababy flies in and gets the goal.
Goodness, when he did that, I was like, Tiz, you put it up top. You didn't hit it on net. But no, he knew exactly where Gababy was. The communication between those two, this is what I was talking about. They've grown so much since the second week of the first semester as teammates. They know how to communicate better. Leaving that up for him for the dunk, exactly what we wanted. Things are getting hot in this Utah game, though. They just grabbed a second goal to cut the deficit to 1 on Ohio State.
And Utah, I mentioned it before, in a prime position to make a comeback here and to go up 2-0 in the series.
Ohio State gets a shot on net. It's a good touch. And Ohio State grabs an insurance goal, goes up 4-2. Danwad it was a good aerial, but even better is the defensive play from Gaines. A little bump on the defender, exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, and Ohio State must have heard me in the booth here. They said, oh, Nate, you said they're going to make a comeback. Not going to happen.
Exactly what happened right there. And oh my goodness, could be another goal, but no, it's cleared out. Kelpie clears it out as far as Gaines, who keeps it in that offensive zone, trying to get a little bit more momentum here. And what changed? Because we could have a perfectly opposite scoreline here. What changed for Ohio State into this game?
I really think it was their mental state. I think in the first game, they either came out feeling too confident or not confident enough. Now they have found it. Their comms are flowing perfect. I think that's the difference maker.
I would say that's been a huge factor in this second game. I also think the Utah rotations have kind of, they've been a little less good. They haven't been able to generate as much offense. Michigan State takes game 2 over Kansas, or excuse me, I believe, it's a Michigan State sweep, if I remember correctly. Jumping from all the games, it's a Michigan State sweep as Ohio State grabs another goal. So that game is going to be done. Michigan State grabs a clutch win after dropping a couple games early on in this semester. We're going back into Utah versus Ohio State. Ohio State looking like they're going to knot things up at 1-1 in the series right here.
Yeah, Ohio State really finding gaps in the Utah rotations. They're doing a tremendous job so far in this game. Here it is, Donward missing the goal for Ohio State.
Yeah, he's just going to try and dribble it out here. They don't have to do too much, as it were. It's a shot on net from Ohio State, but it's just going to tap ground. And Ohio State knots this series up at 1-1.
They do, and that's a big win for Ohio State, not just because it makes the series 1-1, but it does get that mental state back where it needs to be to possibly win 3-1.
Take a look at this Baylor-Minnesota game. Things are knotted up at 1-1. I said Minnesota might not even get a goal with how strong defensively Baylor has been, but they're going to get an early one here, and it's an early lead. Hoxer tries to get a shot on net, but can't quite get it to go. It's an early lead, or excuse me, it's an early tie for Minnesota, and one that we might not have expected.
Yeah, really didn't expect Minnesota to have a tie right here, but they must have found a gap in Baylor's defense.
Which is one of the hardest things to do in the PEC this year. Baylor, reminding you, is undefeated. Minnesota is the bottom team in the PEC, although they have been better this semester. They're still tied for last in the PEC currently. Zanil kind of clearing it out. There's that impressive defense again. Andy leaves it up for Hoxer. Hoxer can't quite get it to go. Tried to get the fake, but couldn't get that to go either. If you're Minnesota, how do you go about beating this Baylor team? How do you pick up enough goals against this defense to do that?
That's a great question. It is very difficult to do so. You have to play in an unconventional way. Baylor has seen every type of style of Rocket League you play. You have to play in a way that Baylor, it's going to throw them off their game. You have to maybe throw a bunch of demos in there. Just start demoing to demo. Throw off their pacing, and then make a shot on goal.
I like that. Just play violently and see what happens. Maybe he'll sneak a couple goals in there too. Now, Minnesota may not be the team to beat Baylor, although they are keeping things tight right now. Do you think there's a team that could beat Baylor at all in the PEC this year, or do you think they'll romp to an undefeated title?
I definitely think Boise State. If I had to pick one, Boise State has the firepower to take down Baylor. I also think Syracuse could. I also think Michigan State could. But Boise State is the Landimals, if I believe so. That is something different. When you can play on land, it is a completely different environment.
Yeah, when we get to Vegas, the PEC Championship, so we've been hyping up this event all year. It's not a secret like it was last year as Andy finds a goal there for Baylor. It's this huge event. It's been hyped up since the absolute beginning. When we get to LAN events, things are going to change. I think Baylor has the best shot at taking it home, but anything can happen when you're on that stage with all those fans. You can hear the casters. It can be kind of terrifying. I've spoken to the Syracuse Smash Bros team. When they can hear us casting it, they say it adds a little bit of a different environment.
Yeah, LAN is a completely different environment. I've played on LAN multiple times. It changes the game completely. Syracuse
currently up 1-0 on Boise State. It's a good shot from Preston, though, to knot things back up. So that's 1-1. Syracuse has a 2-0 lead. Things are tied in the bottom left. If you look down there real quick, Utah versus Ohio State. So things are tied over there. But Boise State, Syracuse, it's a tie game in the third game with Syracuse up 2-0 on the set.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, too, that, Dano has been a kind of a superstar for Syracuse a little bit this game. A hidden gem, you could say. He's really stepped into this role and has played solid.
I would absolutely agree with you. We didn't know what to expect from him, and we kind of talked about that. We don't really know what he's going to bring this team, but now that he's out there, now that we can see him, he has been an absolute monster. It's awesome to see. Woozy can't quite find the follow-up. I'm going to say something. I'm going to be bold here. If Syracuse can go ahead and take this in a sweep, they are the only team in the PEC who can stand up to Baylor. They are the team that, if there's any team that's going to beat Baylor, it's going to be a full-strength Syracuse squad. They're going to have to clear this out first. My goodness, just nearly gets in, but just manages to clear it out. But that is my bold prediction. If there's any team that can bring this, that can, stop this Baylor giant, it's this Syracuse team after a sweep of Boise State, should they pull it.
Yeah, I really think it would be between the two teams that are playing now, Boise State and Syracuse, and a goal for Boise State. Durthrow.
Yeah, Durtho finds it right there. It's 2-1 for Boise State. If they're going to pull off this reverse sweep, they need to start right now.
The reverse sweep starts now, scoring goals on this Syracuse defense just like they did there.
They both go, for that little fake kickoff. They're just going to let it recycle into that Boise State end. Gababy's got an opportunity, but Durtho manages to clear it out. They've got 35 seconds to find a goal. Woozy looking for a shot on net. Can't quite get it past the bumper of Nano. Nano looking for the finish, but can't quite get it to go. It's just bouncing harmlessly around that Boise State end. Tiz manages to knock it back into the middle, but Woozy is there to meet it. Woozy trying to create some offense. Tiz manages to knock it back, only as far as Durtho, who kicks it into that dangerous area. Nano with a good clear, But there's nobody from Syracuse down in that other end to finish it. Boise State gonna let it bounce around, really play it safe here in that offensive, or in that defensive end, excuse me. Syracuse has to flick this up into the air. They're gonna do it. Kababy with a shot on net, but it doesn't quite go. Preston just clearing it out. I can't believe he didn't let it hit ground right there, because the moment it hits ground, this game is over. It's a shot on net, but it can't go. Kababy's gotta keep it up in the air. It's up on that edge wall. Kababy keeps it up yet again. Nano looking forward to it. Nano leaves it off for Tiz. But Woozy manages to clear it. It's heading towards that ground again. Nano bumps it up one more time. Kababy, another bump up. Oh, the next time it hits ground, the game will be over, and Boise State takes game 3. So the sweep is not to be for Syracuse.
The sweep is not to be, but I'm confused. Why didn't Boise State just let the ball touch ground? You run such a risk if you keep trying to play the ball. Just let it touch the ground and get the game over with.
I completely agree. We're headed into Utah versus Ohio State. Ohio State holds a narrow 1-goal lead on the Utes currently. Utah trying to create some offense. The offense has been better for them. 2 goals through now is a lot better than what they showed last game with just 2 goals the entire time. Brand's trying to flick it forward to Kelpie, but Danwad gets a good read on it. Leaves it up for Bungo, but flicks harmlessly into the defensive end where Utah is there to collect. Danwad flicks it all the way across. And it hits off that back wall. Nobody's there for it. Kelpie flicks it into that offensive end, trying to create a little something, but can't find the passing quite yet. And that's been the biggest thing. Utah really not able to find the connection so far.
Yeah, they haven't been able to really pass the ball around and have good ball movement. It's kind of like in a basketball game. You have to move the ball around the field. If you keep the ball in one area, it's very easy to play defense on that. Ohio State's done a great job stopping that with their rotations and their boost management.
Kelpie knocked off the ball. Ohio State gets a shot on net from Danwad, but Brand is there to keep it out. Kelpie flicks it forward, trying to find a teammate in that offensive end, but only player there is Danwad. Seth knocks it into the middle. We haven't heard much of Seth's name so far today. It's Branch who flicks it back into the middle. It's a good win there. Knocks it towards the goal. Danwad, oh, it's an own goal for Danwad. Just kind of flicks off the end of his car. Is put into a good, dangerous area by Branch. You're going to see it right here. And Danwad just redirects it into his own net. It was going there either way, so it's a good effort, but we're all knotted up, both in the series and the game.
Yeah, huge, honestly, a mistake by Ohio State there. I know it's hard, and it looked like it was going to be a goal either way, but
Syracuse has given up an early goal just 15 seconds in against Boise State, so Boise State looking to do what Syracuse couldn't in that first semester. Minnesota takes the lead with a goal from Rad over Baylor. My goodness, something we definitely didn't expect was for Minnesota to hold a lead at any point in this series, and they have one right now.
Yeah, not something I thought about, but Utah also got another goal and gets another goal for Utah.
My goodness, has flipped this game on its head, looking to take a 2-1 lead over Ohio State. This has been an absolutely incredible matchup so far. 52 seconds left. Ohio State needs to find 2 goals.
Ohio State absolutely broke right there. Absolutely. You cannot let Utah get up and score 2 goals in a matter of 10 seconds. We went to the quad box, and next thing you know, Utah takes the game from 3-3 to 5-3.
Yeah, so this does have a couple of standings implications. If Utah can win, they will move up even with Nebraska in terms of wins on the season. Now, of course, Nebraska is currently on the bye. That's why you're not seeing them tonight. But they will move even with Nebraska in terms of wins. Ohio State would, if they should lose, they'll move to 4-9. Kansas currently 4 and I believe 4 and 8 on the season. So that's going to be the biggest marker there. Kansas, of course, already lost today, so now they're 4 and 10. So those two are pretty tight. That's going to be close in the standings as Ohio State gets a goal back with 23 seconds left. But yeah, so it has some bottom of the table implications. If Utah can pull off a win, that would be, really impressive for them. It would be important for their battle with Minnesota for the bottom spot, and with Nebraska as well.
Yeah, it is, and some of those top teams are looking at these bottom matchups to see kind of who they'll be playing as of now in Vegas.
Right, of course. Danwad gets a shot, but can't quite put it on net. Danwad leaves it up yet again for Gaines. Gaines can't quite get it. If it touches ground as Boise grabs a goal against Syracuse, it's going to be a win for Utah in the bottom left. So Utah takes a 2-1 lead there. Now it's Baylor who currently holds a 2-0 lead. It's a shot that just ricochets off right into the path of Andy. Andy puts the Bears up 2-1.
Yeah, great shot there. Great ball movement. Amazing assist. All 3 members of the team touch the ball there. That's what you want to see. That is good fundamental Rocket League.
They're going to kick things off here yet again. You know, Minnesota held that lead briefly. Baylor doing what they do best, playing from anywhere on the field. And they managed to recover a lead pretty quickly. It took them about a minute and a half or so.
And that's what those top teams do, right? Those top teams are able to bridge that gap very quickly.
Minnesota got a decent chance in on net here. And Zanil, who's going to clear it off. A disgusting play from Zanil, but Alex is there to corral it. Hawks are bringing it back in, but it's a good clear from Pi. Pi leaves it for Rad. Rad trying to drop it down, gets the dunk, but it's a great save from Andy. A double commit from Minnesota leaves their net wide open. It's a shot from Hoxer and a goal to put him up 3-1. A costly double commit for the Golden Gophers.
That's a good double commit. It's a risky play call, but it's what you have to do in these types of games. If you're Minnesota, the way to beat a top team with Baylor, you have to come out and play aggressive and run these risky plays.
So far, Syracuse currently down 3-0 in Game 4 to Boise. So Boise really been downloading their opponent's moveset a little bit. And we're going to get into Game 4 again on this bottom left. Utah versus Ohio State. Utah in the blue, Ohio State in the orange. Utah trying to create something in the offensive zone as Boise is doing the same, but no, can't quite get it to go.
Yeah, Syracuse kind of folding in that top game. They've had 2 close games, even 3 close games. Now they're kind of folding against Boise. I don't know if the pressure got too big or what's going on there, but they need to figure it out.
I mean, we saw it in the fall where Syracuse was doing exactly what Boise did right now. They just kind of started to learn how their opponents played, play a little bit better. But, I mean, yeah, they almost got another goal there. It's a good save from Tiz. Yeah, they've just been absolutely everywhere. I want to know from you, what's been the most surprising thing that you've seen tonight?
I mean, a surprising player has been Nano, for sure. He has been absolutely balling out for the orange. But what's been surprising me is actually how many demos there's been across these games. It's a move that every time I've watched Rocket League, at least I say, you know, why aren't we utilizing that way more, even just to throw off pacing and timing? Teams are using that a lot so far.
Ohio State's grabbed an early goal in this bottom left game. And in the bottom right, it's 3-2. Minnesota cuts the deficit to 1. We'll see if they can pull off an incredible comeback there. We've got the last 30 seconds of this Boise State versus Syracuse game. It's a nice dunk from Tiz. My goodness, off the back wall. That's disgusting. We'll see if they can pull the comeback. 2 goals in 32 seconds for Syracuse.
A great dunk, and Gababy sets it up for Tiz. One of the leaders in assists in the PEC, and he sets up another great play for Tiz.
Exactly what he's been doing all year. Syracuse needs a really good kickoff here to give themselves as much time to work with to grab that last goal. Nano flying through the air, going to try and create something, but can't quite get it past Woozy. Woozy looking to break offensively. Syracuse had committed numbers forward, but it's a good save from Tiz. Tiz with boost is met by Preston. It's a good game, good stop there, but Nano can't quite clear it out on the other side.
Yeah, I think Boise State, they become playing more reactive here. They've really slowed down the game, and it forced Syracuse to play left-handed.
Oh, it's nearly a goal there for Syracuse, and it's a great save from Woozy. As the clock hits triple zeros, it's not going to matter, though. And Syracuse is going to lose Game 4. It's now 2-2. Syracuse in danger of being reverse swept. Ohio State has a 3-goal lead in the bottom left as they try and force a Game 5. And in the bottom right, we're going to head into the last 4 seconds. The last 30 seconds, excuse me, Minnesota's managed to force a couple goals past Baylor, but Baylor still holds a commanding 2-goal lead.
Yeah, you got to give Minnesota credit, right? They came out, they played their game. They did play a little unconventionally. They were doing a little bit different in the rotates. They were demoing a little bit more, managing their boost well, but at the end of the day, it's Baylor.
And you know, maybe they've kind of given a blueprint for somebody else to try and beat this Baylor Bears squad. It's going to be difficult, whatever team does it, whether it's here or on land. But as the clock strikes double zeros, the ball taps the ground, and Baylor completes another sweep. They've been common for the Bears this PEC season. And there's another one. They advance to 13-0 on the season.
Yeah, that's remarkable to be 13-0. No matter what sport it is, no matter what it is, being 13-0, not losing at all, it is pretty wild.
It's been really impressive from them.
It has been.
I mean, we're heading pretty soon into another game. Probably going to take more look at that Utah-Ohio State game. And yeah, it's 4-1 Ohio State currently. Ohio State just grabbed another insurance goal. Bungo, it was a good pass from Danwad directly onto the hood of Bungo to put them up 4-1 and try and force a Game 5. So we'll have a couple of Game 5s, hopefully, and a couple of sweeps here for you tonight. But yeah, I mean, Ohio State's been playing a lot differently this game. What do you think about that?
Ohio State has been. They've really, it feels like they did the same thing Boise did to combat Syracuse. Slow down, almost let Utah make the play and react to it, and then play off of it. Almost let Utah call the shots for you, but Utah gets a goal.
I mean, it's a tough goal there to allow. Kelpie launched it absolutely as far as they could, and it's an early goal in Game 5 of the Syracuse-Boise State game. 1-0 Syracuse lead, and you know, here's the thing, it's really been the team that scores first in those games who goes on to win it, because both teams play such smothering defense, bouncing around that Syracuse end, and it's a goal for Preston to knock things back up. Just 30 seconds gone by and a pair of goals already. So two really exciting Game 5s hopefully coming up for you.
Yeah, Preston does a great job, finds the tiniest gap in the Syracuse defense and gets it tied up on 1.
Things are 1-1 up in this game. Still 4-2 down here in the bottom left. Utah trying to make a little bit of something happen. It's a shot on net for Branch, but couldn't quite get it to go. It's good offensive pressure, and Tiz just manages to get up and clear it out. Oh, it's smothering offense from Boise State so far. Left for Nano in the middle, and it's kicked into that Boise State offensive or defensive area for Syracuse. Nano manages to keep the offense going, knocks it into the middle, but there's nobody there. Durtho tries to get the clear. Durtho, once again, an opportunity to clear. He's got a decent amount of boost. Kababy is there, knocks it into the middle. Nano went up for it, but nobody was there. Kababy tries to get a flick, leaves it off the back wall for Tiz. Tiz down, it's great save from Woozy. Oh, that could have been it for Syracuse, but no, Woozy is there to stifle them yet again. It's a good pass, it's intercepted by Nano. Woozy takes it up, met by Tiz in the air. Gets the demolition on Tiz, but couldn't quite find the final touch to get it past for a goal for the Broncos.
Yeah, I want to see Syracuse slow the game down and really play more defense. Don't let Boise get up 2-1. Play slow, play your defense, play good rotates, manage your boost well, and then take an aggressive shot towards the end of this game.
See, I think that could be the issue here for Syracuse. They need to slam the door on opponents. They need to finish things out. Because there it is again, Durtho, if you get enough offensive pressure, if you're the Broncos or any team, you will eventually start to find more goals and more holes against Syracuse, and you can't punish them. So I think Syracuse needs to keep up the offensive pressure through the entire game. We've got about 45 seconds left in Ohio State, Utah, so we're going to hop in there right now. Utah needs 3 goals to avoid a Game 5 in just 35 seconds, so that's a tall order for them. Gaines just trying to keep it in that Utah zone. Obviously, you know, it would take a goal every 10 seconds for Utah, and that doesn't look to be too likely as things stand. Ohio State currently actually putting on most of the offensive pressure. Gets a flip reset, but can't quite get it to go. Kelby looking to clear it out. But Danwad gets in the way of it. It's a shot on net that can't quite find the corner. Just 10 seconds left. Looks like this one's going to be an Ohio State victory. And the best 2 words in PEC regular season Rocket League action, Game 5.
We are going to a Game 5 as soon as this ball touches the ground. Right there. Game 5 for Utah Ohio State.
We're going to go back to this Syracuse game with 2.5 minutes left in this absolutely incredible Game 5 matchup. Woozy gets a shot that can't quite fall. Kababy's got to come off the wall and find it. He does. He's flying through the air, but he's met by Durtho. Durtho flicks it past Tiz, but Tiz gets a good bounce. Oh, it's bounced around by Nano. Couldn't quite find it. Nano goes and contests with Preston. Woozy knocks it off the sidewall. Woozy with a shot on net. Oh, and it's a great save from Tiz. Tiz now trying to find it. He doesn't have any boost, but Nano does, but it's a good block. Kababy seeing if he can create anything offensively. Leaves it for Nano. Oh, and it's a great save from Woozy.
Boise State's defense playing phenomenal right now. That is an amazing save by Woozy. And now they're going to clear it.
Yeah, they've got to find some offense right now. Nano got just enough boost to get back. Nano flicking it forward. Kababy leaves it for Tiz. Tiz just only able to flick it onto that sidewall. There's Nano. Nano knocks it into the middle. Tiz there to try and finish. He can't quite get it. Now Durtho's going to try and clear. Durtho leaves it for Woozy. Woozy off the back wall. Can Woozy get the dunk? No, Kababy saves. Now Preston looking for some more offensive action, but Kababy is there to meet it yet again. Kababy on the clear. No boost, so he's just going to leave it. Leaves it for Nano, picks up the 100 boost. Tiz flicks it in the middle. There's nobody back for Syracuse right now. Somebody's got to get back and stop this counterattack. Syracuse also still needs to find a goal. Durtho knocks it into the middle. Tiz flicks it towards Woozy though, and Woozy finds a third goal. It's 3-1 Boise State, a 2-goal deficit for Syracuse. And it looks like the reverse sweep is very well on.
I don't know if that was a mental error by Syracuse or if that was a called play to basically leave the net empty and all three push up.
It feels like a mental error, and it feels like Syracuse kind of just got a little bit scared. A little bit, afraid after that nearly a goal for Tiz. Just can't quite get it to convert, but it feels like Syracuse just got a little bit worried and tried to play a little bit more conservatively. And that's really what's hurt them, because they're finding holes, Boise State is. You can't do that against a team like Boise State, who nearly grabs a fourth.
Yeah, I think Syracuse really just took their foot off the gas. It almost felt like they got content when they were up 2-0. They're like, oh, hey, we're up 2-0. Let's go get one more. And then Boise came back and did what Boise State does.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. And it's just so disappointing. Knocked off the top from Tiz, but couldn't get anything going. Preston headed the other way. Tries to get the knockdown. 2 seconds left. We're going to hit double zeros. And Syracuse chokes away a 2-0 lead. A reverse sweep for Boise State. And that has huge implications. Syracuse looking like they're going to stay the 3 seed if Boise State doesn't lose an unexpected game. Boise State going to stay the 2 seed for when we head to Vegas.
Yeah, and that's going to be an amazing rematch to see in Vegas. Hopefully we see that rematch. 2 teams both battle their butts off.
Right, yeah, and here's the thing. Going to talk about some Vegas implications here. If you get chalk all through the first little bit, if you get 1, 2, 3, 4 are the semifinals, then currently as things stand, it will be Baylor versus Michigan State and Boise State versus Syracuse.
Phenomenal games. Games that will be amazing to watch.
And what would a full-strength Boise State look like for against Syracuse? That's a great. Or what would a full-strength Syracuse, look like against Boise State? That's a great question. That's a great thing to think about. So those are the things that we got to think about with Vegas coming.
Yeah, we do, and I think with Syracuse, if they're at a full roster, I don't know how different it looks. Nano really played solid. He came in, did his job. So I don't know how different that looks. Obviously, the chemistry will look different, but I don't know from the scoreboard how different.
Yeah, we've got a replay here of Kansas versus Baylor. Excuse me, this is a Kansas versus Baylor. This is live, folks. We get extra PEC action for you tonight. This is just a little bit of a treat because this game didn't happen. Baylor was in Hawaii as Syracuse was, so this game got rescheduled. They're playing it now.
Can't blame them being in Hawaii. I mean, beautiful weather, a lot better than the cold we're having here. Texas has some nice weather too, though, down there.
So it's currently 3-0 Baylor over Kansas, and I mean, yeah, as we said, there have already been some real huge PEC implications so far. If everything's chalk, we talked about how that would look, but it sets up a really fun weekend in Vegas.
It really does, and if you're Ohio State right now, you really are watching Baylor and saying, please just go wipe the floor with Kansas. Please, because if Kansas can lose and Ohio State's able to win a few more, Ohio State can jump Kansas and possibly be in a better bracket situation for Vegas.
Right, Ohio State heading into a Game 5 very shortly, and if they can pull it out over Utah, then they'd have an opportunity to leapfrog Kansas on wins.
And that would be huge. I don't know where that would set them up necessarily in Vegas for the first game of the bracket, but would be better than who they play now. It would be better than who they play now. Right here we see Hosker setting it up. Baylor really managing their boost well, just playing good rotations, doing everything that you need to do to play fundamental Rocket League.
We're going to head, yeah, so, I mean, this looks like it's pretty much wrapped up with 25 seconds left and Baylor on the offensive. Currently, Ohio State is holding the lead on Utah, as we talked about, so that would be absolutely huge, and especially if Kansas can lose their second game of the night, drop 2 games in a row, that would be incredible for the stock of Ohio State, trying to leapfrog into that 5 spot, get themselves a bit of an easier first-round matchup.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're Ohio State, and if you're Utah, you really need to win this game to jump Nebraska, potentially. Nebraska, again, we mentioned not playing because of the bye, but if you can jump Nebraska, too, that's huge for Utah.
And Ohio State just grabbed a third goal over Utah. That's going to That's going to, I mean, it feels like this thing is pretty well wrapped up for Ohio State over Utah, and that will give them the win there.
Yeah, minute 13, it's hard to come back from that. That's a lot of goals you have to score, especially with how Ohio State's playing these past few games. It's going to be difficult.
Ohio State just gained a lot of confidence over the course of these 5 games. They started playing within themselves a little bit more, and that's why they're going to pull out, you know, I mean, Game 5, terrifying, but that's why they're going to pull this out.
Yeah, it's similar to what Boise did against Syracuse. They found their momentum, they found their groove, and they ended up coming in and just making a good run.
Yeah, so Ohio State, I mean, things are wrapping up, and after this, we're actually going to go see Utah play Syracuse for the same reason, which is pretty awesome. We get so much Rocket League action. Syracuse still playing down a player, but a little bit easier of an opponent than Boise State was tonight, I think.
Yeah, a little bit easier than Boise State, but I am wondering what the mental is going to be like for Syracuse. Coming off a reverse sweep, it is always hard to play back-to-back after that. I hope they take a minute to go clear their head.
Yeah, it's hard. It hurts. But, you know, team captain Gababy, he usually tends to keep things pretty set, pretty clean, yeah, just like the mentals all in order.
Yeah, keeps everything under check. And another goal for Ohio State. Danward makes a great goal. You can see it here. Bungo bounces it off the wall. Good setup. And Ohio State just continuing to play.
Yeah, and, you know, credit to Utah for being, you know, one of those 3 teams that are, you know, in that basement right now in the PEC. They pushed Ohio State hard. They took Ohio State to 5 games. That gives you a lot of hope for the rest of this semester and the rest of this spring season. That game is going to wrap up. It's a 3-2 series win for Ohio State as, my goodness, Kansas has taken an early lead on Baylor a minute in. Neve just in the right place, right time to take a lead.
Not what you expect from Kansas to take a 1-0 lead early on Baylor, especially after map 1 and how Baylor looked, but hey, anything can happen. It's Rocket League.
Exactly. That is kind of the whole point. Neve has a full tank of boost, gets a flip reset, tries to get another one, can't quite get it, but Alpaca is there to recover. Neve tips it forward for Alpaca, and it's, oh my goodness, is it going to be a second goal for Kansas? No! Oh, they had the perfect opportunity to take a surprising 2-0 lead over Baylor, but no, that just didn't quite go. Do you have a prediction? I mean, Kansas is looking really impressive currently. Do you think they'll be able to take a game off this Baylor team?
If they're going to take a game off, it's going to be map 2. It's going to be this game that we're watching right now. But if Baylor does start to come back into form and play how we know Baylor can play, it's going to be a 3-0.
I think my prediction is, I mean, just knowing who Baylor is, I would also go with a 3-0 for Baylor. They are just so impressive. They do everything right. And they've just been so dominant this year. Syracuse, one of the few teams to actually take a game off them.
Yeah,
which is a feat in and of itself. So, yeah, we'll have to see as Hoxer finds the equalizer with 3 minutes to go there. Yeah, that's exactly what we expected.
And that's what happens. Baylor kind of comes out and they say, okay, look, we have started to not play our game. Let's take a breath, and now we go score.
Exactly, and you know, now they have ample time to go find a winner, maybe tack on a couple after, but it's also a lot of time for Kansas to try and, you know, weasel their way back into this one.
Yeah, Kansas easily can weasel their way back into it as they get a good clear there. And it's looking dangerous.
There it is. No, that's a shot for Baylor, and that's a goal.
My apologies, I had the colors mixed up.
No, hey, that's okay. It was, you know, just a little bit of a caster curse there, you know. Time for Kansas to weasel their way back into this one. No, Baylor's gonna immediately move back on the offensive.
I've had a few caster curses today. I'm going to stop saying, oh, hey, Baylor can, oh, man.
Right, exactly.
A lot of caster curses.
Yeah, never doubt Baylor. It's kind of just the actual strategy for caster curses this semester.
Yeah, and Baylor just playing solid. Hosker here and Zanell. And it looks like it's going to be a clear out for Kansas. No, Baylor going to force it back into Kansas territory, and we could easily see Baylor get up 3-1.
Yeah, the brand of offense that Baylor plays is just so smothering. They're constantly keeping you on the defensive, starving you for boost, demolishing you every which way, and that's been their absolute brand this semester, and they are continuing to play it here against the Jayhawks. Neve knocks it into that corner. It's flicked now into the defensive end for Kansas, but it's going to be a decent clear there for Swift. Swift gets it past one, might have an opportunity to turn defense to offense, knocks it off the wall. Is anybody going to be able to capitalize? No. Hoxer gets a good clear.
And that might be the moment that Kansas needed. That was, I think, Kansas' opportunity there to get this game tied 2-2.
Right, if you tie things up there, you know, things could really you could swing the momentum back in your favor, and there's less time. You know, if you can find a sneaky third goal, then, you know, there's not a lot of time for the Bears to respond, but no, it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Even if they do get that goal, you can play for overtime too and possibly get a lucky goal there.
It was exactly overtime. Really, really anything can happen then.
Demo.
Yeah, good demolition there for, against Baylor, excuse me, but Zanil comes back, knocks it to JT. Wow, it's a beautiful pass. JT exactly where he needed to be.
And that's what Baylor does. Playing great together. Look at the comms. Look at how they set it up. It's wide open. There is nobody there to even contest it. For a team like Baylor, that's a routine shot to put in the bottom left. Some teams, that's a harder shot. Baylor, that's an everyday.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple of matches in other places where, you know, teams get the ball right in front of the net, but they're moving so quickly. You know, they shoot it off to the left or the right. Baylor never going to do that. They are a pro team.
Yeah, Baylor, it's every day for them. It's like a free-throwing basketball for an NBA player. It's going to happen. They're just going to make it most of the time.
Right, a wide open lane for the layup, pretty much, is what I would describe that goal
Wide
as. Kansas gotta generate some kind of offense down 3-1. If anybody's going to generate it, is Meave right here. Meave leaves it for Swift, but no, couldn't get it to go. So Hoxer with a nice save. Hoxer flicks it up, but couldn't get the flip reset. It's a good contest. Oh, what a save from Zanil. Coming off the ceiling, timed it exactly right just to tap the ball, stop the momentum. That was disgusting. Wow.
He came out of nowhere. He came like a bird swooping down for the fish in the water. He came out of nowhere and stopped the goal.
Up to Hoxer. Hoxer looking for some more insurance, but Swift gets in the way. Swift up to Meave. Meave leaves it for another teammate, but no, two Baylor Bears are there to just clear it into the offensive zone, and they're just going to let it tap ground, I would assume here. There it is. Baylor takes game 2. It's 2-0. I mean, we've had an epic day. Of course, there's one more game here that we're going to take a look at, and that could be our last game of the night. We're going to take a look at that game, the finale, or excuse me, not the finale, but game 3 of this. Baylor looking for the sweep, Kansas looking to start a reverse sweep. All season, Baylor has only lost a total of 4 games.
4 games. To only lose 4 games in an entire season, fall and spring, that is impressive. That is what it is. That is playing good complementary Rocket League. That is how you do it. That's the dominance that Baylor is. That is who Baylor is.
We're getting back into it now. I mean, yeah, Baylor is just... There's nothing you can really say about him as we hop into a game 3 right here. You know, I mean, Kansas is looking to get one of the first game wins on Baylor for like all season. Only the 5th it would be all season. I do want to take a moment to, you know, we'll get to it in the post game after this. We'll take a moment and talk about the other results, especially that Syracuse Boise State game, because there are a lot of factors that go into that. But for now, it's, you know, Baylor looking to do what they do, and Kansas looking to pull off an upset.
Yeah, Kansas trying to pull up, at least get one map off of Baylor. If you can't get all 3, it's impressive enough to get one map off, because if you get the one map, that is good momentum for the future, too.
And it's Baylor still in that offensive zone playing that pressure offense. I mean, you can look at the boost levels on the screen for this Kansas team. If you leave to go get boost, you risk letting in a goal. If you stay, you run out of boost so quickly, and Baylor just controls that boost lane. Meave has had 0 boost here for a minute, and Baylor takes advantage there. Puts themselves up 1-0, the Bears. And it's an early lead here, just a minute in.
Baylor takes advantage of that boost that they were getting. Taking advantage of the map, taking space, does a great job with their boost and goes up and down.
Yeah, so gonna kick things off here yet again. And yeah, I mean, Baylor taking a commanding early 1-0.
Baylor takes commanding 1-0 lead, and Maeve gonna try to clear it out, get it into Baylor's space here, and Hosker gonna get it out. Swift gonna be the last line of defense for Kansas here, and Swift gonna get a good ball.
Yeah, JT though immediately takes back over in that offensive end, knocked off the wall a couple times. But it's Alpaca who now has to get a clear past this Baylor defense. No, can't do it. That's the thing. If you can't get it past midfield on your clear, you are going to run out of boost so quickly, and that is what Baylor excels at. They never let it get past midfield into their defensive end.
Baylor plays the 50-yard line, and they don't let you get past.
And it is fundamentally a lacrosse strategy, as we were saying earlier. I mean, I've been enjoying the formerly #1 ranked, currently #6 Syracuse lacrosse team. Is nearly a goal there for Kansas to tie things up. But now it's just going to be a good clear from Baylor. Meave gets a shot nearly on target, couldn't quite get it to go. I've been enjoying a lot of this lacrosse team. I didn't really know lacrosse before I came to school here. And the thing with lacrosse is if you can keep it in their end and you don't let them get it past midfield, then you're going to do a lot better. And it's the same concept with Rocket League.
It's the same exact concept with Rocket League. Rocket League can be translated into a lot of sports. It's like soccer. If you can't let them get past the 50, you're going to succeed. In football, you can't, don't let them get past the 50, you're going to succeed.
Exactly.
Same with Rocket League.
Yeah, Hoxer just finishes another goal there. That one, though, was a little bit more of a breakaway for Baylor. We'll take a look at it right here. Yeah, JT leaves it for Hoxer. Nobody in net. Zanil, you saw, was going over to get a demolition or a bump to, I mean, really ensure it. Didn't quite get it, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, great play call by Baylor. And if he gets the bump, that it's wide open. It's another gimme for Baylor. Not able to get the bump, and they still make it look easy.
I mean, these layups are just, yeah, they're layups for Baylor. They're layups. As they're looking to complete the sweep now. Yeah, and I would like to see if there were one stat that I'd add to Rocket League. You know, you've got shots, you've got goals, obviously, you've got assists, you've got bumps, demolitions, and you have a form of clear where, you know, you clear it out to the side or out. But I would like to see a stat that is exclusively for when you get defensive possession, how often does your team clear it out past the halfway line? I think it would be really telling.
And if we had that stat, Baylor would probably be #1 in my guess. I'd guess Baylor #1, probably Boise at #2.
And the thing with Baylor is they wouldn't allow a lot either.
Yeah,
They would keep their opponents from doing so. Baylor, though, looking to get a clear here, and that's textbook. Zanil now gets an opportunity, had the flip reset, but didn't get a second one, so it's an easy save for Meave. Meave now trying to clear it out, create a little bit of offense with 1.5 minutes to go to try and take the game off. Baylor going to need 2 goals. Flicks it up, had 1 flip reset, didn't get a second, and it's a good clear.
And Kansas looks like they have nobody home, so if they get it cleared, if Baylor can clear this out, I mean, that could be a goal.
It's a tough double commit there from Baylor, which allows Meave to sneak in. Meave knocks it towards the middle, but no, it's a good stop there, right around that, you know, that invisible 18-yard box. Or no, it's visible. I'm tripping. Yeah, there's the 18-yard box right there. Meave tries to, Meave's going to have to get a clear. Meave up into the sky, leaves it for Swift. Swift trying to create a little bit of offense, but no, it's a good clear for Hoxer.
A good clear for Hoxer. And Baylor, it's so hard to talk about Kansas because of how well Baylor is playing. But I do want to give credit to Kansas. This game could be completely different. This could be a 5-0, a 6-0. With how good Baylor is, they could score as many as they wanted. Kansas is really playing fundamental Rocket League to an extent. Obviously, you can't keep up with Baylor sometimes, but they're still not playing bad Rocket League.
Yeah, and I think what Kansas has shown this game, and you know what we saw with Ohio State earlier, is that Kansas versus Ohio State for that 5th seed is going to be a dogfight. I mean, technically it's a Buckeye-Jayhawk fight, but it'll be a dogfight. And they'll be really tight together. And it's going to be, whichever one comes out on top will probably give whoever they play first round a run for their money. 10 seconds left. Kansas grabs a goal. We might have a game on our hands here, folks. They need one more in 10 seconds. It's going to be tough. But, I mean, that's just a long-range Alpaca right where he needed to be to finish out.
Yeah, good communication out of Kansas there. Able to set each other up and able to get a goal on Baylor.
Going to need a good face-off win here into opponent territory with possession. Alpaca flicks it up. Swift coming up that sidewall with boost advantage, but kind of just overshot it. Zanil clears it out. Clock hits double zeros. We'll see how long Kansas can keep it up for. Swift flicks it forward. Flicks it forward one more time. Gets the 100 boost. Tries to flick it past Hoxer. Into the net. No! It's a great save from Zanil. It's a game-saving save. And it's a sweep for Baylor there. My goodness, that was tight.
I really thought Kansas was going to pull it off there. They were in perfect position, but Baylor does what Baylor does.
And Kansas played them tight in every single game, right? It was so close in every single game, and I got to give them a lot of credit. They played really well against the top dog in the PEC. Let's take a look at, let's breathe. That was an epic night of Rocket League. Let's take a look at the games we saw and what we thought. Let's start with, of course, the big dogs here. Boise State versus Syracuse. What did we think of that game? For me personally, I mean, Syracuse just has some real trouble shutting the door on teams. They'll go up 2-0 often, and they'll let teams back into games. They'll drop games they shouldn't. And right there, they just kind of faltered. Now, of course, they were not playing with a full-strength roster, but they just kind of faltered, let Boise State back in, and just couldn't quite get the job done in Game 5. And, it's going to be tough. They're going to be full strength, of course, when we get to PEC, but that is a tough blow.
Yeah, it's a tough loss if you're the Orange, but what the Orange need to do better is not let that happen. I know it's the easy thing to say up on the desk is, oh, well, don't get reverse swept. But it is a mental game. It's all mental. When you get up 2-0, it is the next map up. It's not, oh, hey, we already won, because you didn't win yet. You have to keep your mental strong, come back, and keep playing the game you're playing. Boise adjusted a little bit, so you adjust. But it wasn't a drastic adjustment where Boise played a completely different style of Rocket League. They played pretty similar to how they played all year. You know what that looks like. Don't over-adjust. Just play your game.
Yeah, and, it's going to be interesting when we get to Vegas, full-strength Syracuse, how they play. Hopefully, they'll retain that 3 seed. Of course, they beat Michigan State earlier, so that gave them a big advantage in terms of the win-loss column, adding a win to themselves, adding a loss to Michigan State to retain that 3 seed and not have to play Baylor should they make the semifinals, and instead have to, wait and play a potential Baylor in the finals. But even still, that's a tough morale boost. Let's get some quick hits for the rest of the games, though. You look at Baylor versus Minnesota. That went the way that we expected it to, but honestly, I thought Minnesota, the way Minnesota played, the way Utah played against Ohio State shows the parity in the PEC. They didn't play bad at all in either of those games. The bottom, the teams that are in the bottom, they played a lot better than I think their records would say.
Yeah, I think at the time of the year we're in for the PEC, all of these teams can't compete. None of these teams are truly a bottom tier team. Records don't tell the full story for what these teams do. Minnesota played good. They played good Rocket League. Most teams in the standing, they end up beating. Baylor, though, is just sometimes too big of a force.
Yeah, I would completely. Yeah, Baylor is just a absolutely different animal. But now let's take a look at Kansas's 2 matchups. Of course, we got to see 2. They played 2 of the best teams in the league, Michigan State and Baylor. Excuse me. And I thought they played great in both games, especially against Baylor. They kept it way tighter, especially in that last game, than I thought they might. And I think it showed that, this Kansas-Ohio State fight, Ohio State won their game against Utah. That fight for the 5th seed is going to be really, really, really tight. Now, though, I want to take a look into the best games of the best plays of the night. Of course, we've got some of our favorite plays compiled. See the best plays of PEC action tonight. The first one here, this was in that Utah game, and it's going to be, this is in that Kansas game. Meave with it was the dunk off the top from Morvu. I remember, we watched that, and that was just a great one. That was just a dunk down. Now looking over at Tiz, here we go, Gababy into the middle, and oh yeah, there it is. My goodness, Nano dunked down. And Nano played great today for Cuse. Nano showed that, he can be a valuable backup in situations. That's Baylor getting a goal up on Minnesota. And here's just an absolutely fantastic goal. That was one of those goals that really shut things down for Syracuse against Boise State. Gave the Broncos, the win.
Yeah, it gave the Broncos the win, and all around a great day of Rocket League. Really, every team played competitively. Every single team did what they needed to do, and it was an amazing day.
Yeah, well, it's been another great week of PEC Splitscreen here from the auditorium at the Marley Education Center. We're going to be right back here for more Rocket League action next week. We've got another great slate of games then. I personally am super duper excited for those. Hopefully, we'll be back on the desk. Could be us, could be other guys, but we will see you then.